I picked up on a major deviation in the body language of Conor McGregor that predicts his worst performance in the octagon. Want to know what McGregor showed the world and what it could mean for him at UFC 229? Then stick around. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor both fought 10 times in the UFC. I was working on an analysis of all 20 of their combined face-offs when I noticed a complete departure from Conor's behavior. The final face-off before getting into the octagon happens the day before, at weigh-ins. It used to be the official weigh-in, now they're ceremonial, but the setup is the same. In turn, each man takes the stage, jumps on the scale, Rogan announces their weight, and they face each other for a final stare-down. I noticed a lot of interesting behavior happens on the scale itself, which makes sense. Tremendous effort and sacrifice goes into making weight. For some, it's the hardest and most stressful part of the process. Watch these 2-second clips of McGregor the moment before his weight is announced. In 20 seconds, we see McGregor at the same moment in all 10 weigh-ins. The clips span April 2013 to November 2016. We see Conor grow from undercard debutant to headliner the biggest gate in MMA history and first concurrent 2-division champ in the UFC. While McGregor's physical appearance evolves dramatically over time, from knocking on death's door cutting weight to a more balanced body of muscle and frame, and going from a blank canvas to the inked-up envy of hipsters everywhere, his behavior within this moment is much more similar than dissimilar. If you didn't pay attention to his relative hydration or number of tattoos, it'd be hard to say what clip goes with which event. Now watch the full McGregor weigh-in. You'll see them in chronological order. Each clip is about 12 seconds and shows him getting on the scale until he's done. Pay attention, but try to clear your mind of expectations. Don't make judgments or try to categorize things yet. Just watch. Let the images come to you. If something sticks out, simply acknowledge it, set it aside, and continue watching. This style of observation is really more like meditation. Granted, that's a lot of information coming in all at once, but what did you see? Which things stood out? Likely you gravitate towards the difference between McGregor getting on the scale at UFC 196 and the other 9 clips. It's quite stark. For the most part, 9 of the clips have a similar tone and energy, while McGregor seems like a completely different dude at UFC 196. Chewing gum is an indication of casual behavior for Conor, perhaps a little too relaxed. That's why we don't see it in the other 9 clips. Chewing gum isn't a positive or negative behavior in and of itself, but we know from McGregor, gum at the weigh-in doesn't fit the pattern. Use common sense as a guide. When is it typically inappropriate to chew gum? Pretty much any time you take a situation seriously, especially in front of a large audience. During 196, McGregor took things very casual. He saunters to the scale, aloof yet hyper-aware of his image. He's fixated on it, which makes him look superficial. In fact, his whole demeanor has an air of showiness and pretense. I know some of you are thinking, he's always superficial. He's always a showy SOB. Wrong. Not like this, and never in this moment. 9 out of 10 times, McGregor takes this moment seriously. For UFC 196, Conor McGregor was acting out his behaviors. See him stroke his nose coming off the scale? This isn't real for McGregor. This is his version of a scene from a Bruce Lee movie. Completely fake. Every other time there was a forced hunger about McGregor, pointing towards the imminent clash of wills that would occur the next night when the cage door is locked. Boom, that's the point. Against Marcus Brimage, Max Holloway, Diego Brandao, Dustin Poirier, Dennis Siver, Chad Mendez, Jose Aldo, Nate Diaz the second time, and Eddie Alvarez. McGregor knew that once the fight started, he would need to first win the battle of wills before he could win the fight. Against Nate Diaz, McGregor had no such concerns or considerations. And why should he? Up to that point, McGregor had easily dispatched with everybody he faced. In roughly 2 years, he became the biggest draw in the sport. Why worry about a late-notice Nate Diaz? Conor McGregor shows us what 100% confidence can look like. Even a world champion can behave like... Well, that's what I see. By making these observations, we establish the baseline for Conor's behavior. Now we'll be able to properly read McGregor later this week when he's in the same situation against Khabib. You might be surprised how much constructive criticism was offered recently. A common theme emerged. It said the louder man is always the weaker man, while the quietest man in the room is always the toughest dude in the room. It continues that the quiet man is also always humble and somehow a king, an animal, sometimes a lion, but never a barking dog, always alpha dog. Apparently, the theory behind this sweet little bromide boils down to this. Khabib was calm and quiet during the face-off, while McGregor was drunkenly dodging butterfly nets. Therefore, Khabib is king, non-barking dog, lion alpha, and most humble. In fact, dozens wrote the same damn thing. They said Khabib froze in front of McGregor and stopped talking trash about him for the first time in 2 years because, wait for it, he's 100% confident. He knows he's gonna win and doesn't even need to be bothered or worry about that Irish chicken. Well, as much as a certain segment of Khabib's fans would probably love to see him choke the shit out of McGregor's chicken, slowly, and over 5 long rounds, they seem to have conveniently overlooked the fact that no one was louder or more over the top with trash talk than Muhammad Ali.
You ain't got a chance. Let us sink. Let us sink. Ain't nowhere now.
He was always the loudest dude in the room.
I'm embarrassed you for life. You are.
While Ali was continually brash and extremely confident, he never overlooked or dismissed his opponent in his own mind. He knew enough to respect the will of the man he faced. Therefore, he took the fight seriously and was never 100% confident. Watch McGregor once more and count how often Conor screams the Irish battle call, making himself the loudest man in the room, and how often he stays quiet in his supreme confidence. Remember, this isn't supposed to be easy.